Hello, my name is Vizer, and welcome to Game 28 of Let's Play game Dev Tycoon. Since this is Game 28, which is a multiple of 7, this is also a big bet episode. So the big bet for this episode is from Runic Edge. He calls this challenge Vizer's Vision. Basically, Vizer has a story that he's been meaning to tell forever, and now that he's finally a big shot developer, he can actually do it. So we're going to try to make a large game where Vizer's in charge of story and quest, dialogue, and world design. Plus, we're only going to do a small campaign. Now, he succeeds only if the game gets an average rating of 8+ or makes 50,000 fans. Now, if the game succeeds, great, he made a good game. On the other hand, if it fails, that means obviously the masses didn't get his vision, so Vizer's going to try again. Except this time, he'll max out the sliders for story, dialogue, and world design. Now, I'm not sure if somebody can die in this game, but I'm pretty sure that would be one way to do it. Trying to develop at least a third of a large game by yourself probably tires you out and should kill you. Well, now that we have our challenge, how are we going to do this? Well, let's look at our data. So obviously, we want to avoid an adventure RPG. That will probably kill him. So we want something that's not so heavy on story and quest, dialogue, and world design. So what options do we have? Well, I think simulation is definitely an option, as is action. Maybe strategy? However, for strategy, we actually haven't found any systems that would be good for it. If I had to guess, it'd probably be the PC, but we have no data yet. So what else could we do? Well, we could do the PlaySystem 2, everyone, action and space, but then I don't have anything about the audience. Not sure if space is good for everyone. Alternatively, we could also do medieval. Medieval, action, everyone on the PlaySystem 2. Yeah, that's a great for every combination. That's awesome. I think we'll go for that. Now, of course, we have multi-genre and multi-platforms. And for the most part, I think these are ways to make more money, especially multi-platform. But they overcomplicate things. And currently, we're not trying to make money. Our only two goals are make a game that scores 8+ or attracts 50,000 fans. So that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? So large, everyone, medieval. Medieval, where are you? Ah, there it is. There's medieval. Genre is going to be action. I'm pretty sure I said everyone, right? Yeah, we're definitely doing everyone. Okay. So for platform, we're going to do the PlaySystem 2. Which, as you can see, action is great, everyone is great, so that's good to go. And yeah, that's looking good. So, of course, for the game engine, we'll go with our newest game engine. I don't know if I want to make this into an MMO. Probably not. Though we probably would be able to get 50,000 fans pretty easily with an MMO. We could just run it forever. That sounds like it's cheating, though, so let's not do that. Now, what are we going to call this game? Well, I have an idea, though it's not a very original title. We'll call it The Bard, Savior of Queens, aka the parody of The Witcher, Assassins of Kings. It was actually a parody trailer put out by the developers, which I thought was pretty cool. So we're going to go with that for the name. Oh, also, by the way, if we look at our R&D budget right now, it's at $750K per month because we've been making pretty good money on World of Everboard. Additionally, off camera, I did a bunch of contract work, but more importantly, I trained pretty much everyone in Boost. Well, everyone except Michelle. So that's pretty cool. We're going to boost the shit out of our next game. Anyway, here we have a message from the EPA. Apparently, we have a high electrical footprint, which makes sense. So they want us to install some solar panels, and they'll cover half the cost. So I think gameplay-wise, this decreases part of our monthly fee for maintaining the place. Unfortunately, I don't really know an easy way to check that, so I don't actually know whether it went down. I'm just going to sort of assume it did go down. Plus, doing that, it probably wouldn't have hurt us anyway. Now, this game will not be ready for G3. It's about 9 months away, so we can't even consider it. So let's not worry about it and just work on this game. Obviously, Vizer's doing story and quest, which allows Jennifer to do gameplay, which, as we found out, is also design heavy, so it works out. We'll drop the story and quest because story and quest is not important for action games at all. And actually, let's just do a linear story. So there's just one true path. We don't need to give the players more options and do a branching story. Can't even do simple cutscenes. So, all right, it's a linear story. It's going to be Vizer story. We're good to go there. Now looking at the other sections, we can do everything under gameplay, but engine is going to be a problem. I think there's a chance that we can't do everything here. So what are we going to cut off? Do I need video playback? It's kind of cool. I guess we don't really need multiplayer, and we don't really need save to cloud. We probably want to at least be able to save your game. And I guess switching same price features doesn't really change the percentage all that much. So yeah, I guess that'll do. So in this case, we need to boost Erica and Jennifer, because they're both doing something pretty important. And I'm pretty sure the boosts are ready. Okay, so next generation of consoles are coming up soon again. And it's going to be very advanced and all that stuff. It's going to be the Inbox 360 along with the PlayStation 3, I guess. But anyway, the more important thing is we've already started boosting Jennifer and Erica, and the boost should last throughout their whole development cycle. Probably. Interesting news, yeah, we put in some solar panels. It's kind of interesting. I don't think we get any hype for it, so whatever. That's a pretty nice point total right now. 200 in design, 175 in technology. I am a little concerned. Do we want that much design points for an action game? I don't think so. But anyway, this time again, we're doing Vizer for dialogue and having him do very little, because it's really not that important. We'll just do better dialogue. He doesn't need a dialogue tree to tell a story. All he needs to do is tell a nice, solid, linear story with great dialogue, and it'll be good enough. But anyway, let's do some more artificial intelligence. It's probably needed. And we can do better AI and have all our features. Plus, we have all our level design features, so we're good to go there. In terms of dividing up the work, we'll put Jonathan on artificial intelligence. Arndt is perfectly fine for level design. So yeah, this section was good to go. But we also need to do some marketing real quick. Like the challenge said, we're going to do a small campaign. So we're going to have some hype. Really, this game's going to be very underhyped, which may or may not be an issue. Anyway, this time we boosted Jonathan and Arndt, and we're still a little design heavy. Hopefully Jonathan will balance that out. Actually, Jesus Christ, did you just see that bubble from Jonathan? He put up at 16. God damn. Anyway, so again for the challenge, Vizer is doing world design, and it's probably not very important. We'll do pretty high graphics and pretty high sound, and in terms of features, we're not doing all of them. Instead, we'll just do rich backstory. That's important for a story, right? For the other sections, we'll do soundtrack and stereoscopic 3D, and it looks like we can get all the features pretty easily, so all we need to do is divide up the work. For graphics, I think we'll stick... No, for sound, I think we'll stick Marcus on sound. As we know, sound is a little more design heavy, and Marcus is pretty design heavy. We'll stick Michelle Fuller on graphics because it's a very balanced thing, and... Actually, can I stick Vizer there? Nope, okay. So we'll stick Michelle Fuller on it, and honestly, I'm having a hard time balancing her out. I think I might want to train her more on design, though not yet. I'm currently training her on technology just to have her get boost really quickly. Maybe I'll train her as an all-around kind of person. Anyway, as for the whole Vizer Vision Challenge, I think we're doing pretty well. Vizer is going to be able to tell a really solid linear story with a rich backstory and a lot of good dialogue. Plus, we have great combos across the board, and each section was balanced pretty well in my opinion. The design and technology points seem slightly off still, but we'll see what happens. For now though, I'm just gonna hit all the boost all the time, because I don't know, why not? I figure if we get a stupid amount of points, the whole point imbalance probably won't matter as much. Alright, so we're about to finish the game. We just need to do some bug testing. And it doesn't look like pressing the boost during bug fixing does anything. So, at least now we know. Now we're still like 4 months off of G3, so we're not waiting. Our low hype is just going to be our low hype. Nothing we can do about it. However, points-wise, we should make new records in, well, everything. So that should be good. Yep, new records in everything. Now, don't get me wrong, all this is very cool, but I kind of want to look at World of Everboard. Basically, we have a little more than 3 months until G3, so we might want to make an expansion soon. Because currently, our profits aren't very high per month. So regardless of whether we meet this big bet or not, our next game is probably going to be an expansion to World of Everboard, which is a fantasy RPG. Ideally, I don't want Vizer to have to do every single part of a fantasy RPG, so let's hope we pass this big bet. and currently it doesn't look like anyone's too tired. So ideally, I could start making the next game expansion right away. Interesting. I don't think I have any fantasy RPG game suggestions, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's see the final review. That's not good. Now remember, we have to beat an 8. And holy shit, I don't think we're gonna be beating an 8. Yeah, that's definitely not happening. Huh. Well, that's not good. Now, I am a little confused since we did so well in terms of combinations, but there's a chance that our retardedly high amount of points mean nothing if the ratio is off, which seems like the case right now. Hopefully, we'll learn something from the final sales numbers and the game report. So, the game report is kind of disappointing. It doesn't tell us all that much at all. Personally, I was really hoping that it would say, like, "Oh, you screwed up your balance, stupid. Action games need more technology." Now, I do believe that at each stage, we did the right thing. We had very low design on each individual stages. Unfortunately, I must have gone nuts with a boost and boosted a bunch of people who were design heavy or something. But that's really the only theory I have right now, so I guess I'll have to stick to it. And another downside is, now it's going to be a real bitch to try to beat those records. Looking at the final sales numbers, though, it gets a little more confusing. On the plus side, we at least made some profit. In fact, our income was double of our costs, so that's nice. But what's confusing is the number of fans we gained. We gained 57,000 fans. How the shit did we do that? This is not even a good game. Plus, we didn't really hype it, so I don't know. How did this happen? Is the number of fans we gained based on our current number of fans? Or what? Either way though, I'm not sure I passed this big bet. Because unfortunately, this big bet was originally for game 21, which was a while ago. So maybe that target is not very valid. However, on the other hand, there's only one game that beat this game in the number of fans gained. Well, normal game. The MMO beat it because I can run the MMO forever. But the normal game was Deus Ex, which was our #1 seller with a publisher, which had a stupid amount of fan gains. So did we meet this big bet or not? I'm not sure. You guys can decide. Either way though, in the next episode, we're going to be making a fantasy RPG expansion to World of Everboard. So until then, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.